Welcome. In front of me is a Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus, and today I'll show you a couple tweaks and the tricks you can do on this device. So let's start off by opening up our settings. And in here, I'm going to just kind of start going down the list where I know I have some options. So let's start with the sound and vibration. And we have two different things in here. So we have the system of vibration, which in here you can choose to increase or decrease your haptic feedback and also turn it off for certain things. Now I find that the out-of-the-box experience for haptic feedback is a little bit lacking, so I do like to crank it up a little bit higher, and this gives me a much more defined haptic feedback when just typing or going back and stuff like that. Now, back in the sound and vibration, at almost the bottom we have sound quality and effects, where you get to select the adapt sound. This is a very nice option that comes with Samsung's primarily, and there's also one other brand which I don't remember from the top of my head that does something similar. But what it is, it's basically a sound equalizer that is applied through the entire system to every application while using earbuds or headphones. And normally it's catering towards the hearing loss that you develop over the years. It's a natural process, so you can choose if you fall by basically which category you fall under, and it already has a pre-made equalizer for these kind of ranges. But what I actually recommend doing is selecting the last option, which is the personalized sound profile. Now, you will need to have a sound-controlled environment for this, where you don't have too much noise, as it will begin playing through your earbuds or earphones very faint sounds, high and low pitch, through left or right ear. And all you get to do is select if you can hear it or not. And based on what you select, it will then create a specific equalizer for that purpose. Now, there's two things for this. It can cater to your hearing loss, or it can cater to your like peripherals that you're using as earbuds or headphones, for instance. So if you have the cheap ones, it would obviously, some of them might not be able to reproduce loudly enough certain frequencies, and therefore you wouldn't be able to hear them. Not because you have some kind of developed hearing loss, but just because the for instance, earbuds can't do that. So by selecting that you can't hear it because you can't, this would try to crank up that sound, and hopefully by raising the volume of this specific frequency, your earbuds, which previously weren't really able to reproduce it loudly enough for you to hear, now would basically achieve that. So it would give you a wider, stage for everything like music and stuff like that. So I highly recommend checking this out. It's a pretty nice feature. Now, if we go back to the main settings page, we can now move a little bit further down to display, and here we have light and dark mode, which you can select throughout the setup process, so it's not really important, but you do also have the option to select it on a schedule. So when you toggle that on, you have two options, from sunset to sunrise, or on a custom schedule of your choice. And this will make it so the device switches between these two modes based on the selected option. Now, if we go back, we also have motion smoothness right here, and we have two options, standard and adaptive. To be completely honest, adaptive will be the option that most people will want to use anyway, as it's going to give you nice buttery smooth motion when using your device, and also lower the refresh rate, I believe below 60 when there is nothing happening on the screen. Now, for a selected few people that just don't really see much of a difference between these two images, which I want to point out, the standard right here is, I think, a little bit exaggerated. But if you don't see too much of a difference, you can select standard, and this will give you possibly a better battery life. And it's even mentioned right here, so get a longer battery life by automatically adjusting your screen refresh rate up to 60. So actually, yeah, this will definitely do it. So this one will run up to 120 Hz refresh rate, meaning 120 frames will be displayed per second on your display when in motion, which gives you that nicer smooth motion, while this one will just max out at 60, so it will be a little bit more choppy. That's why we had this kind of difference where one kind of looked like it was stepping, stair-stepping almost, or just stuttering, while the other one looked much smoother. So yeah, I just select whichever one you prefer. And like I said, if you can't see a difference, then go with this one. Now, moving a little bit further down, we have adaptive color tone. This is basically going to try to adapt the white background of your display to the environment. So as an example, this is white table and this should be white background, right? But you can see there's a discrepancy. This is a little bit warmer tone, the table, than the white right here, which appears much more blue. So what this caters to is, when enabled, it will now use the camera and try to see the warmth of the environment, so the light that is right here, and then try to match these to basically be very similar. So if you're in a very warm lighting room, it will try to also give you that warm tones on a display to match it. It's basically what it's attempting to do is, when you have a table like this one and you have a warm light hitting it, the table would be reflecting that warm light, so it will appear obviously warm because it's reflecting the warm light. While the phone, it's not going to be reflecting that same warm light, it's going to be emitting its own, but its own is not matched to this one. So what it's trying to do now is, by using the camera to see what kind of light is being used here, it's going to try to match the warmth of that light to emit it to the display. Now, a little bit even further down, we have the screen mode, and here we have two modes. We have the vivid and natural, though you can choose whichever one you want. They are very subtle nowadays. So here it's not even visible, to be honest. Wow, there is on the other devices, the S25 normal one and Ultra, this was a little bit more visible, but here I almost cannot tell the difference between these two modes, so this just kind of becomes irrelevant. But previously Samsung did have vivid mode, super oversaturated. Here it looks like it's almost no different from natural. Now, another thing here will be the screen resolution. All the devices, the S25s, come with a 1440p resolution, but out of the box it is turned off to give you better battery life. Now obviously you paid for the whole display, so you might as well use the whole display. And that would be by using the 1440p resolution, Quad HD resolution compared to the Full HD. And you do have kind of like a side-by-side zoomed in comparison to them. Personally, I don't really see that much of a difference, so I myself would be sticking with the Full HD, as like I said, I don't see a difference, and the Quad HD has a impact on the battery, so higher one than the Full HD. So I just prefer to prioritize battery life when it comes down to things that I can't really tell the difference from. But obviously you can select this one if you want to. Check it out. If it doesn't really make a difference to you, then again, just go back there and switch back to 1080p. Now, if we scroll down further, we have Edge Panel. And Edge Panel is this thing right on the side right here, which I can just kind of see a faint little outlines. So under Handle, you can customize how it's going to appear. And the way I like to do it is, I like to move it where the volume button is, and then make the transparency high, though this one won't be visible till we close it. And then size, I will match the volume buttons, so I'm gonna shrink it just a bit. And there we go. So it's right in the same place where the volume button is. And now when I go back, it's just going to disappear. Now it's disappearing because it's set to be fully transparent, but because it's right where the volume buttons is, I know where to swipe to actually activate it. There we go. So first time just takes a moment. Okay. So you can see, you know where it is because of the volume button. So it's easy to locate it, but it's not also showing up on your display, so it's not annoying you. Now, under panels here, you also have the option to add additional panels to it. There's a couple that come with the device, which you can see right here. And if you are signed in to network and also have a Samsung account signed in, you would have a Galaxy Store button right here, which would take you to the said store. And that would automatically take you to the section where you can download, or more precisely buy, additional panels. And in there are some that are pretty decent. and most of them cost anywhere from like 99 cents to like $2 or so. So they're not super expensive. It is still annoying that they don't give you the option to just download them for free after spending an absorbent amount of money on a phone, but it is what it is. I presume these are like user-made, so that could be the reason. So anyway, and there you can download more. And just to show you also how this works, if I add something like a weather and I pull out the panel, you can also now swipe on it, and you can see I have multiple panels now. So there we go. Now, going back here, we also have navigation bar, and you have two options. You have the button navigation and gestures. You can enable gestures, and under more options, unfortunately, it's kind of bare bones. It only allows you to change the sensitivity of it, so make it higher or lower. And that's about it. For instance, customizing the bar at the bottom to try to get rid of it or stuff like that, you can actually download Good Luck, and in there you will find an option that is designed to just kind of customize in general the things like the arrows, the transparency of it, the look, and also the bar at the bottom. Though at the moment I do also want to clarify, there is no way to completely get rid of it like you used to be able to do. You can make it transparent, but not fully, like we could do here. So it's always going to be just visible by a tiny bit, but you can shrink it so it's much smaller, about the size of a USB port or width of it, while also being almost invisible. It's still visible if you're looking for it. And you can also make it so it's not getting in your way, because if you were to scroll down, right here you can kind of see, even though this has different shade, you can see that the bar itself is kind of cutting into the content that would be visible on the display normally. So you can actually make this white area right here that is right now cutting into the system vibration options, right? You can make that transparent so you can actually see the system vibration writing even when it's, well, kind of encroaching on the area where you have the navigation bar. Now, see anything else that I wanted to show in here? I'm gonna quickly just look. Nope, actually, I think that's about it. So, in any case, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.